Welcome, friends, to another episode of Speaking from the Heart. This is where we explore the wisdom of the gospel and connect it deeply to our businesses, our places of work, and our personal lives. And today's theme is inspired by the timeless Simon and Garfunkel song, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. The lyrics remind us, when pain is all around, I will comfort you. And these words are not just poetic. They also echo the very heartbeat of the gospel. We live in a world full of troubles. At work, where we are experiencing big changes because of the economic downturn. At home, where parents and children are often estranged. And in society at large, where our culture is currently going through major changes that will deeply affect how we treat each other. But the promise of comfort is also true, and it's also very much alive. And it is available, awaiting to be experienced. In today's episode, we'll reflect on how the gospel calls us to be a source of comfort and how it can transform our leadership, businesses, and our personal relationships. In the gospel, Jesus reminds us in John chapter 16, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Now, troubles are not optional. They are part of our everyday experiences. But the comfort that Jesus offers, and the comfort we offer one another, becomes the bridge that carries us through. I think this is what Jesus meant when he said, I have overcome the world. And it is the love and comfort he calls us to have for one another. The Apostle Paul echoes this when he writes in 2 Corinthians, Praise be to the Lord of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Now notice the movement. We are comforted so that we might comfort others. Comfort is never meant to stop with us. It is meant to flow outward, building bridges of compassion, kindness, and forgiveness. Now think of comfort that results from taking care of others in sickness, finding solutions for those living on the margins, and forgiving others because of the harm that they have done to us. Now, we only extend that grace because of the divine that lives within ourselves. Now, whether we recognize that grace or the indwelling of the living God, or whether we don't recognize it. Now let's look at this with reference to our businesses, workplaces, and our lives. In business, leaders can show comfort for their teams. In times of uncertainty, employees look for reassurance. And a leader who listens with compassion and acknowledges the struggles of their team becomes a bridge over troubled waters. Comfort, in this sense, doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means creating an environment of trust and safety where people feel supported, even in difficult times. Now here's a story about a small company that faced layoffs during an economic downturn, just like the one that we're now experiencing. Instead of announcing the cuts coldly, the CEO gathered everyone and spoke honestly. "I know," he said, "this is painful. We will walk through it together. And for those leaving, we will do everything we can to support your transition." Now, the honesty and compassion created dignity in the midst of pain. In the workplace, we can support colleagues through a stressful time. Workplaces are often filled with stress, competition, and deadlines. But a kind word, a helping hand, or a moment of understanding can transform someone's day. Comfort at work is about noticing when someone is struggling and choosing to lighten, to help lighten their load rather than adding to it. Here's a story about an employee who stayed late, not to finish their own project, but to help a teammate who was overwhelmed. Now, that act of comfort, a sense of practical and selflessness, built a bond of trust that strengthened the whole team. And in our personal lives, we can just be present. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give is simply showing up. In personal relationships, comfort often isn't about saying something or solving somebody's problem, but just being there, listening, and reassuring others that they're not alone. Now, here's a personal story. My spouse told me at one time when she was going through a grim time with pain, "Richard, I don't need your advice, nor do I need you to solve my problem. Just sit with me." And with that, I began to appreciate that comfort doesn't always speak. It sometimes needs to listen in silence. And with that bit of advice, let's bring this podcast to a close. And as we reflect on the words, "When pain is all around, I will comfort you," let us remember that the gospel calls us to be bridges, to carry one another over the troubled waters of life. Whether in boardrooms, workplaces, or in our kitchen tables, comfort is both a gift and a calling. So here are a few questions for reflection. What insight, word, or phrase resonated with you today? What touched your heart as you listened? And how can we turn this teaching into action? Yes, both you and I, so that we can enrich our business, our workplaces, and our lives. And how can we share this reflection with others, becoming bridges of comfort in our communities? Now, if you found this podcast useful, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and thank you for doing so. Now, the next time we meet, our theme will be "Forgiveness is always healing." And sometimes we act with guilt rather than with forgiveness. Until then, may you not only find comfort in your troubled waters, but also become a source of comfort for others. I'm Richard Fontenay, signing off. Let's meet again next Monday, if not before. Bye now.